Well, hello everyone on my behalf as well. Hope you have enjoyed the summit so far. So what I'm going to cover is a little bit on the ecosystem part. So what does it make to scale and what have we done with it, as well as the invitation to collaborate on that aspect as well. A lot of companies use this statement, Internet of Things made easy nowadays, and we do it as well. But is it really so? And that's why the question mark there on the heading as well. There's a lots of technology choices that customers need to do when they deploy IoT in their smart buildings. And especially when you want to retrofit any existing building, there's a lot of decisions that you need to take. And sometimes you might actually be a little bit lost as well, how to do those deployments within the smart buildings. So choices like what kind of sensors I need, how are they connected, how do I manage the support, what kind of SLAs I need to deploy, what happens with the security of those devices, and so on. So there's a lot of decisions that you need to actually do when planning on IoT solution for the building. People, at the end of the day, they also want choice. They don't want vendor lock-ins as such. People want interoperability as well. And this is the constant message that we get from our customers as well. And interoperability is the kind of like a key as well, and part of the decision making for those people deploying the solutions. However, a lot of vendors are working in silos at the moment as well, within smart building ecosystem itself. And interoperability is a huge concern for those people as well, because the investments that you do in real estate, those usually last for years. So the decisions you are taking today are carried forward for years forward as well. And the investments are really for the long term. And people often forget about the kind of like a total cost of ownership that's involved with the IoT solution. And it's kind of like a hidden behind the complexity of these different choices that you need to do. So you may be focusing on single part of the solution, for example, platform or sensors themselves. So you optimize one thing, but you forget the implication on 2, 3, 4, 5, many other things as well. So we know IoT is hard. And there's a lot of things that we've done to make it as easy as possible to deploy as well. And one of the things that are really essential to the deployment of the IoT solutions in smart buildings is the connectivity. So how to make sure that the sensors you deploy are sending the data as reliable as possible to the applications where the data is then used. So over the years, we've gone through pretty much all the connectivity solutions in the market. And we are really happy partners of Wirepas deploying the Wirepas mesh connectivity, for example, with our sensor solution as well. And that's by far the best connectivity solution within the smart building area. It's scalable, so you can pretty much run millions of devices within single network as well. So there's no limitation, for example, how many devices you can actually run within as well. One of the key benefits of combining, for example, our sensors with Wirepas is the long battery lives as well. So it's pretty much steal and forget kind of things. The batteries are lasting for years, so you don't need to constantly change the batteries, for example. And we can monitor the battery levels over the air as well. So we can see after years, for example, that what are the battery levels in each sensor. So we can plan the battery changes after years of use. Wirepas is extremely reliable within the building environment. Every building is quite different from each other. You never know what's the impact of walls or floors in that building for the radio signal. You might end up setting sensors in a room with walls full of steel cages, for example. And obviously that impacts on it. But having that mesh capability allows us to create a mesh network with the sensors that actually reliably sends the data from those facilities where we place the sensor, depending on or regardless of the use cases that we use those sensors for. And of course, over-the-air updates, that's one of the key feature and functionality of it as well. So allowing that two-way communication. So sensors are sending data, but they are also receiving commands over the air for feature updates or software updates or configuration setup changes as well. And of course, security is in everyone's mind when they deploy any IT solutions, whether it's IoT or anything else as well. And that's covered with the end-to-end security that the solution provides. Picture tells more than 1,000 words. So here's an example of Thingsy Tower as we speak. You can see that we can cover pretty much the whole building in a couple of gateways. Again, thinking of the kind of like a cost of ownership, because typically gateways are slightly more expensive than the sensors. And then you have the sensors put across the facilities within that building as well. So we can cover the whole building with just a couple of gateways and lots of different types of sensors supporting different use cases as well. So what we are actually doing today, so together with Wirepass and Prologis, we are kind of like inviting all our current partners as well as future partners in building this kind of like an ecosystem for the benefit of everyone involved in it, and especially our end customers as well. And what we are doing in practice is that we are opening up how the sensors and gateways are connected to each other. So that allows any third-party vendor to join us in creating different use cases for our customers as well. And the key really is the centralized device management as well. And that's a key thing for scalability as well. With the proper device management allows you to manage that device life cycle in a way that you can predict and manage the costs involved with that as well. And what that does in practice is for example, firmware updates, configurations. You can create installation applications, for example, as well. But then also provide that kind of like a support and maintenance model that allows the customers to focus on running their business instead of managing an IoT device network, for example. And that's the kind of like a key as well. Typically our customers, for example, they are not in IoT business. They do anything and everything other than IoT. So IoT is not their core business. So that's why we have created the model where we provide this as a service as well. So all this is at the end of the day enabling the kind of like a scalable, multi-vendor, smart building solution and ecosystem with many different supported use cases that our customers want. And it gives them that kind of like a trust as a future proof solution that lasts for years as well. And based on they can build their applications and services, for example. So that's pretty much my part. Great prelude as well for our panel. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Hopefully stay in for the next panel discussion.